Welcome back to Mission Reboot. Today we're going to be talking about navigation, search engines, and just a whole bunch of stuff. And quite frankly, it's changing in real time. So, as the older person here who relies on digital navigation, I'm going to let you guys kick off this session on search engines and how should we be thinking, about them? Because again, things are changing in real time.
Yeah, I think that this series is a series that was funded by Comcast and is work.
Thank you, Comcast.
Thank
We
you,
appreciate your
Comcast.
support. Comcast Project Up.
Yeah.
Yep.
And this is important because, again, we've said a lot that when you come home, tech is just a part of your reentry planning. And one of the things that happens when you come home is you start using the internet and internet searching. And many people don't recognize there's a ton of places you can go. So if you use an Apple product like an iPhone or a MacBook, you could use Safari. You could go and you can use Google Chrome as an option. If you start to lean into the conspiracy theories of the world, you don't want to use Google because then people will tell you, oh, they're tracking everything. And then people start saying, let's go to DuckDuckGo and some of these other places. Also, none of these people have paid us, so I'll stop using their names. But I think one of the conversations that I'd like to have with you, Josh, and Mom, you could probably because if you've watched the previous episode with Saad, there are a lot of fake websites out there. There are a lot of scams out there. You could accidentally download a virus onto your devices. And so it feels like, at least for just a second, it's worth holding space for so you come home, how do you not download a virus?
Yeah. So I think that you might mistakenly think that because it's on the internet, because it's on a website, that it is a real thing. That is, even if it's not a fake website or a scam website, there could be information on that website that Lauren put on, that Josh put on. And maybe I want the world to think that, that aliens are running the government or whatever the case. But there may be some more plausible lies or misinformation or things like this on the internet. So I think the first thing is just have a healthy dose of skepticism through our filter through which you interpret things, and realize just because it's on the internet, it does not necessarily mean it's correct or real. The other is that search engine. So it's going to be pretty easy to get on a search engine and start finding stuff. But the way that they work often is that certain websites rank higher on the list. If I search for, I was thinking about your shirt, like a pink shirt, there are a lot of clothing companies that are all competing to be the first website that pops up, just like it's an advertisement. And so when you search for something, just because it's the first thing or the second thing doesn't mean it's the best. It often means it's the company paying the most to show up when you search for particular things.
That's so interesting you went there, because I had to break my addiction to another major platform that in the middle of the night when I would wake up, I found myself buying stuff and it would show up on my doorstep.
She literally enjoys the overnight delivery by 7 a.m.
Yeah. And then I realized,
I'm right there with you.
Yeah. Then I realized, actually, they're not letting me see, I couldn't get what I wanted because of all the things they were trying to serve me.
Yeah.
And then I got really frustrated because I'm like, I know there's more stuff.
Yeah.
But I can't get behind a wall to get to
the
rest of the pink shirts, using your, example. Yeah. And that frustrated me because I was like, all right, let me get off this platform. Let me go over here. It's like, oh, here's the rest of the pink shirts, So you somehow, have to kind of break what they even think about you.
It's a learned mindset, which it feels like a stupid episode perhaps, but this is actually an important episode. Yeah. So this whole series is more like a how-to, things that you wouldn't even think to tell people. So one of the things we also know is when you go to search for, you come home and you look for plane tickets. And you're like, I need to search for travel. We recognized if you use one platform, you put yourself kind of in ghost mode or incognito, as it's called, which means the internet doesn't know you're looking. But then somehow the internet tried to figure out that I was looking, even though they weren't supposed to know I was looking. And so I then went down a totally different path. And so I think one of the things that's important about internet searching and why this is a conversation is for someone.
And because we travel so much, we weren't getting the best prices.
We were getting more expensive
Yeah.
prices for
And
stuff.
then it's so interestingly, I called my sister who lives in North Carolina who doesn't travel like we do. And I said, hey, can you look for a price ticket
And they're
to go
different
to this place?
prices.
And
Yeah.
she got me a price ticket,
Yep.
from Baltimore to go to North Carolina for $400 cheaper
Yeah.
than I could get.
I had the same experience with a car rental. I was actually, it was a friend of mine and we were renting a very expensive vehicle. And his price
We know you're a
was,
baller,
Because
Josh.
Josh
He
is
act
on Wall
like
Street,
he
if you
tried to
didn't know in the
slide
last
that in.
episode. I mean,
we were renting
luxury car
Yeah.
rental searching.
it was, it
Yeah.
just,
No,
it was,
baller cars, not Cadillacs, but
Excuse me.
it was
What kind of car
significant.
was it?
It was a McLaren, but it was
See?
significant. And I wasn't trying to say that. Where his price was several $100s cheaper than mine. And I'm wondering, why are they profiling me as like having,
Yeah.
so this, your think of using the internet as like leaving fingerprints
Mhm.
everywhere.
Mhm.
And they understand, oh, this is Lauren's preference. If Lauren is always
Mhm.
buying really expensive stuff, we can charge Lauren more.
Yeah.
Correct.
So things like that.
She books her travel at the last minute. Okay.
Yeah.
Sturge.
Yeah. And you know what's funny is as you were talking, I think the phrase I heard this recently and it's so true, that the best known product will always beat out the best product. The best product will always lose to the best known product. And so
Some marketing episode,
it is.
Josh.
No, I mean, and
Yeah.
as entrepreneurs, this is a
Yeah.
very important principle.
Yeah.
Because you could start a company, you could build the greatest thing in the world, but if people don't know about it,
you.
it does not matter. So this is how the internet works.
Yep.
Everybody's competing to be the known thing, the known pink shirt, the known plane ticket.
Yep.
And this is why you shouldn't necessarily take, hey, the first thing that pops up when I search is the best option. Sometimes it takes thoroughness, research, a little bit more investigation, and maybe different search platforms and things like that.
Last thing I'll say as part of digital literacy and specifically search engines and internet navigation, one of the things that may be a tool that you want to use is also, to Josh's point about ranking on the internet, is the internet is indexed. And by that, what we mean is all of the world's information is organized into pages. Mom and I can always tell when someone's searching for her because her case comes back closer to the top.
Yep.
And so we have learned how to make it a game to keep her case as far down as possible. And that's something that if you have a public case or you have a case file that there's nothing on you but your case and you're trying to make a different footprint, because you guys have talked about digital footprints, you've talked about people searching you for jobs or for housing. So if someone has a public case that is on the first 2 pages of the internet, do you have any recommendations or strategies? I have some. I can answer my own question, but I figured I'd see if you guys had
I
anything.
wanted you guys to ask me, but I'll ask myself. I think your answer probably would be better than mine, but I want to just show a different angle of what you just said, which is you may put something on the internet and then delete it and think it's gone. But another part of indexing or archiving is that almost every web page is saved at different intervals. So let's say you have your website for your company. I can see what it is saved. I can see it from April of 2023. I can see it from March of 2022. And I can see which version and how it looked in snapshots of your website. So even if you delete it, it is always there for people who know how to access the saved old versions, which you do not control.
Yep.
You do not control these. They are out there. Yeah.
So I think for me, then the answer is we've just done so much stuff, and I've done so much stuff. You know, I was going to say good and bad, but I think really mostly good.
Mostly good.
And as a result of that, there's a lot of good stuff out there.
Good news.
And a lot
It's
of good news. So, you
Yeah.
know, like, hey, do more good. And,
that
you
shows
know,
up
and then
first.
it's going to also be out there, and it provides a little bit of a balance for everything.
Yeah. So
And post good stuff. You know, if you're out here posting on social media, make sure your social media posts, your LinkedIn posts, those type of things are
Control
put
your
out there
narrative.
as well, and that they're telling the story you want people to see.
So I'll just kind of weave a couple of episodes in to make you be inspired to go watch them. So what Mom was just talking about is doing good probably fits into the legacy conversation we had, which is how do you create a feeling about yourself that people remember. I think, we're going to have an episode on kind of branding and influencing. I would say one of the benefits potentially of creating even a blog is it is a platform that you control what the internet knows about you. So if you have something positive to say, or you have something that you want to say a lot of, right? So even if you're just like, I want to come home.
It could be about cooking.
I was going to say cooking. Like, I want to come home and I want to like learn to bake. And so I just did that. Then what happens is you feed the internet more information that gets associated with your name. So that's how you could push yourself down.
Right now, the internet loves Lauren as a mother.
It does.
Oh, yeah.
It loves Lauren as a cook. And I'm like, Lauren, can the internet love you as R3 Score?
The internet really doesn't care about me professionally,
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah.
I noticed that, and so that's one of the things where they will surge it for us. Well, they'll say, hey, Lauren made this dish. And I'm like, but you didn't say anything about what I did professionally. So in any event, appreciate you guys having the conversation around internet searching. Again, it is a topic that probably feels like, why would you talk about it? But there are things that people don't think to tell you. So that's what this is for.
Yeah. Thank you for watching Mission Reboot. We hope this episode helps you.